So, top tips for promoting your event via social media. I thought I'd start off with trying to define what social media actually was. And that's actually quite a difficult thing to do. I Googled it, I looked on Wikipedia, and all it says is absolute complete jargon. It just gives long definitions that doesn't mean anything. So I tried to summarise it, and actually social media is just about interaction using technology. It's something we're all doing now. Most people here in the room have got smartphones, tablets, laptops at some point in stage. So we've got this technology, and it's just about meaning that we can share and talk in a more effective way. There's lots of social media tools out there. There's hundreds, and I could talk all day on each and every one of them. But if we have a look at how we can group these tools, we've got social networking tools. The main ones are Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and they're the three that I'm going to talk through very briefly today in my 10 minutes. We've also got geolocation tools. Some of you might have checked in as you arrived today. We've got blogging tools, we've got document sharing, we've got photo and video sharing. There's loads of tools out there. It's just knowing what each one can do and what one's appropriate for you and your audience. Because social media is about technology, we're going to have a bit of a play with that shortly. But I just wanted to put social media into the context of event marketing. Last year we had the Olympics 2012, one of the biggest events many of us in the country will see, bigger than most of us will ever actually get involved in. But there was 34 venues across the UK that got involved. And in that 2-week period, there was 360 million mentions about the Olympics across the internet. For every person on the planet, that's 44 pieces of information. And if we think everyone on the planet's not on social media, you know, that number's even bigger. In those 2 weeks, Usain Bolt was mentioned 960 million times. Before he crossed that finish line in his 100-metre sprint in under 10 seconds, he was mentioned 2 million times on Twitter. You know, the power of Twitter and other social media tools in terms of events is huge. And as event managers and organisers, it's up to us to be involved in that conversation, provide a place online where people can find information about our event and get involved in it. So because it's about technology, I'm going to use some technology from the AV guys here. So for those of you that have got voting buttons, if we can have a quick go of those, see what social media tools you're using at the moment to promote your business and your event. And you can select more than one of these options. So if you can vote now, we'll have a countdown button in the corner, I think. Okay, so a mixture. So Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, brilliant, because they're the three that I'm going to talk about in most detail today. Next question. How did you first hear about Meeting Cambridge? Meeting Cambridge, we started promoting in December, before Christmas, and we've used a lot of tools to promote Meeting Cambridge, not just the social media tools. We've actually used a whole range that have been integrated. So again, if you can place your votes, just one option this time. Number 5, email. So it's still a form of digital marketing, some support by the Twitter feeds on there. Brilliant. So my first top tip is about knowing your target audience. As I said, there's hundreds of social media tools out there, and one of the most important things to do is actually know what your target audience are using. What social media tools are they using? It's not, you haven't got the time and the energy and the effort to put into teaching people about social media and how to use the tools. You need to actually do some research and find out what tools they're using. So from that quick question there, we know that you're using Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And we also need to plan our content. It's really important to realise that there's 3 stages to an event. There's before the event, there's during the event, and there's after the event. And my top tip would be that you actually create a calendar of content for those 3 key stages right at the very beginning when you're planning your event, so you know what you're going to communicate through all the different tools that you're using each and every time. LinkedIn. We found out by researching our audience for Meeting Cambridge, Conference Cambridge, that a lot of people are on LinkedIn in event organisation. And we use LinkedIn as a tool. We use the advanced search, which is, if you haven't used it, top right-hand corner next to the search bar is an advanced tool. If you use that and you look at the criteria, we could actually identify that there's over 1,200 people living within a 25-mile radius of Cambridge that work in event services. That's 1,200 people that we could identify and start working to see if they were on our list already or if we could communicate with them in a different way. We also did some research using LinkedIn on the group facilities that are important to event planners and event organisers. And there is lots and lots of groups available. But again, we were trying to see what was most relevant to our target audience. So we worked through those groups and we we researched them, we joined them, and for each group, we actually tried to work out, through the advanced search tool again, how many people were in a group that lived within a 25-mile radius of Cambridge. And some of the massive groups that have 30,000 members, there was only 2 people. Some of the smaller groups that were more UK-based, more local, had about 200 people. So by doing our research, we were able to identify 5 groups, including Event Peeps, International Confex, and Who's Who in Events, that meant that we could focus our work and our discussions and our promotions for the event where we knew our audience really were. Twitter was also important. Conference Cambridge have been using Twitter for a few years now, and when it comes to an event, my top tip is that you've got to create your own hashtag. If you don't create a hashtag for your event, someone else is going to do it. The hashtag for the event last year is the same as this year. It's CanMeet. So hopefully everyone that is tweeting will be using that hashtag. And as an event organiser, you can follow what everyone is saying about that hashtag. Judith at the back is tweeting now a storyline of what's happening today. So it also manages to extend the reach of the event. So people that aren't here can't make it, or if you're concentrating now and you want to have a look later on what the key points were, you can go onto your Twitter feed and follow what's on the hashtag and have a look. For event managers and event organisers, these 2 other hashtags, Event Profs and Event Peeps, are really popular and worth a look at. Facebook. Facebook is much more relevant to B2C audiences. While Conference Cambridge have a Facebook page, and obviously we used it because we've got over 13,000 likes on there, it was really important to us that actually we knew from our research that LinkedIn and Twitter was going to be a more valuable social media tool. I said earlier about creating this online presence for your event, making sure that you've got an online presence. We had a specific website, www.meetingcambridge.com, but if you're not going to do that and maybe you've got a more relevant B2C audience, create an event page on Facebook. Do some research and see actually if Facebook advertising is relevant to help draw people to your event. And the best thing about Facebook, possibly in comparison to Twitter and LinkedIn, is that it's much more visible in terms of photos and video sharing. Everyone that's using Facebook for kind of personal use is probably used to sharing photos and video. And that's really important. It's part of the reason why we've got a photographer here and we're videoing today, is that we can record the event, we can capture what's going on, and we can share that. So again, the people aren't here can have a look, but also, you know, in a week or so's time, you can hear us again and catch up on the bits that you might have missed. And it's also really important in terms of promoting your event for the future. So you can use it to kind of say, you know, this is what happened and this is what it looks like. So people that hadn't quite made their mind up first time can see what they need to do the next time. And there's a wealth of tools for this. You've got Pinterest, you've got Flickr, you've got Instagram, YouTube and video. So there's lots of them out there that you need to look at. We've also got document sharing, and I think I've gone quicker than my 10 minutes. All of these presentations will be on the document sharing social media tool, SlideShare. So my top tips to kind of summarise are to share, to talk, to engage the conversation, to start the conversation. If you do that on Twitter, use the hashtag. If you do it on Facebook, create an event page, possibly advertise. Video it, record it, and share using those relevant tools. Research your audience to start off with, find out what tools they're using, and plan your content. Create that content calendar and make sure that your whole campaign is integrated, and it will save time in the long run. Thank you.